Kevin, this is actually positive. This is spicy, at least for Ravens fans. I guess any fan that loves their football team and has more cap space, because the salary cap, Kevin, am I not mistaken? The NFL just announced that the salary cap will be boosted almost $30 million. So why don't we start with you with this? What the hell does that mean for the Baltimore Ravens in this situation?
Yeah, it's a good thing. The Ravens were up against it cap-wise, and this is before they've made any moves. So before this increase, based off of projections, so some people were working with maybe they thought it was going to be $240 million, $245 million. Comes in this year at $255.4, right around there, $1 million, which is an increase, you mentioned, Ryan, of $30 million from what it was last year. Now, this is for a couple of reasons. First of all, some of the COVID money that was lost back in 2020, that's coming back into the cap and back into the NFL's pocket, so they're able to increase the cap. But the NFL's been killing it with media deals recently, with advertising deals. I mean, we're getting a lot of that money. So I think for me, if you're talking about the Ravens, they now have $12 million in cap space before these restructures, which is big for them. Now, we do have to remember, we talked about it last week, they did still have that $8 million dead cap from the Kevin Zeitler non-extensions, Gus Edwards, etc. But now you can maybe soften the blow of franchise tagging and Justin Madubuike. Does that mean Derrick Henry can come back? Or maybe it just means they can maybe they were going to let Ronald Darby walk or Jadeveon Clowney walk because they weren't going to be able to fit them under their plans. But now you're able to bring back one or two more of these free agents that could help your team out and prove that they could be on the team and make an impact in a Ravens uniform.
Yeah, so. You know what, Zach, then? I think it's simple here. And then I think we might be on the same wavelength here. Let's see if I'm doing this. What I'm hearing is we're going to let EDC cook.
Yeah.
And see.
Oh, yeah. He's going to cook. Now. I will say I'll give into the conspiracy theory, though. Each team got about $10 million more in cap than projected. And that's about $340 million that was added, which is very surprisingly close to the numbers reported that Taylor Swift brought into the NFL. So did the entire league just get the Taylor Swift
bump?
Yeah.
Did Taylor Swift just help every NFL team out there? Your favorite NFL team you should be going on tour and thanking Taylor personally.
Which is it is funny. I don't know if that's actually what happened, but people were breaking down the numbers and they're like, this is very suspiciously close to the exact range that Taylor Swift is reported to have brought into the company. So it's crazy.
No one believes in conspiracy theories, right?
Never.
Never. Especially everyone that was talking about that the Kansas City Chiefs were just going to win the Super Bowl because Taylor Swift was going to be there.
Yeah, who knew? The NFL, I bet people will use this as, and then the NFL gave every team $10 million to pay them off.
Is there going to be like a 30 for 30 on this?
There's
what if I told you? What if I told you?
It'll come out in like 15 years after the dust is settled, but there's going to be they'll make something out of it.
The NFL is going to be like, they're going to send out a memo to their players, be like, hey, if you know this celebrity and you're interested, like, hey, make sure they get onto our airwaves so we can give your team more money and you can make more money. It's just this whole thing.
OBJ and
Kim Kardashian.
Which still, to this, he announced that they decided to make it more public after the AFC Championship, like the week after. And I was like, we spent all week looking for star power to match up with Taylor Swift, and at no point did he say, I have a Kardashian if we want to bring. No. He waited till
that would have sparked the curse rumors.
And it looks like we're here anyway.
Well, Kevin, you see what happens? We're here. But before we get into more baseball, if you're just tuning in here, welcome back with the Ryan Rickman Show. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be talking more Orioles here. If you have any questions, please let us know so we can talk about that. That is upcoming here with spring training. A lot's going on in spring training. And let me know about your taking a red-eye flight experience. Mine was not the best. Just got back from the West Coast, and now I have to sit next to Rocco on a flight tomorrow morning. Who's the lucky guy? I am, but we're both going to spring training. We're going to be covering a lot of the Orioles, so please follow us so you can get all the content daily. We're going to be down there for 3 days having a time. But, Kevin, I mean, we talked a little bit, and obviously you mentioned Derrick Henry here. I mean, the fantasies now, and I need to stop this. I need to stop fantasizing.
No, you don't.
Well, and I will say I do love Fantasy by Mariah Carey, but that's a whole different subject. But I want to think more and more that Saquon Barkley, the running backs in general, like the franchise tags, it seems like it's not going to be a thing.
No.
Right? It feels like not going to exist. So hear me out. if the Ravens don't draft Blake Corum and he goes to the Chargers because the Hardballs are going to fight over Blake Corum. Also, St. Francis Academy guy, by the way. Local guy with that, or went to school there. Then with Saquon Barkley, I'm just saying, let a guy dream. Is it more realistic?
That's who I would prefer over Derrick Henry, just because of he's so much. There's so much more to his game, and I feel like he is someone that you can have play all 3 downs. Whereas Derrick Henry, not necessarily the greatest passing back, that's out there. I think you really can add so many more dimensions to your offense with the Saquon Barkley rather than a Derrick Henry, but. Everyone's going to bring up every scenario. I mean, you said, the second the cap went up, it was like, why don't we get both?
Yeah, which is not happening. But I do think that and we've seen he's not the same type of both guys are different pass catchers, but we've seen Henry take those screens and rip them off for touchdowns. But I still think that Barkley or Jacobs, those are guys looking for their first real NFL payday. Yeah. So I think that they're less inclined to maybe take a team-friendly deal where was it Jeremy Fowler that said that if the Ravens were in the market for a running back, but if it exceeded $10 million, they wouldn't be. It was some report out there. Might have been him, might have been someone else. But that makes sense to me. And I think right now Derrick Henry is projected right around 2 years, $20 million with 13 guaranteed. The main focus for Derrick Henry, I think, as opposed to maybe a Barkley or a Jacobs, I think he is more, hey, I want to win a Super Bowl. I know that I'm not getting any younger. He's had a lot of carries. And I think if you put him in an offense with Justice Hill and maybe you add a mid-round running back and then Keaton comes back, I think it's perfect for him because I think Barkley and Jacobs are going to cost more. Not that I don't think Barkley would be a good fit, because I do. Yeah. But for them looking, because there's been this whole thing about the position is devalued. They're not getting paid fairly. And it was almost like this started off, I call it like the Mark Ingram thing, where once he had a certain age, Ingram was awesome for them that first year in 2019. But then he fell off a cliff and everyone's like, okay, well, look, it was one good year, but he hit that age threshold. Henry's over that age threshold, by the way, but he's still an incredible player. Well, but I think you can get Henry for cheaper than you can a Barkley or Jacobs.
I would agree like that. And obviously he's still working out like you do, Kevin. So
100%.
And if you guys haven't seen the workouts, they are electric.
Crazy.
Yeah. But Derrick Henry, I'm with you. Like, it's definitely that age thing, and people are going to have to look at it. And obviously, if can we agree with this then? Also, the Ravens have done such a great job of bringing in talent and finding different holes there. And the running back is, unfortunately, it's a devalued position. It's nice. It'd be sexy. We'd be excited. I'd have a tequila shot right now if it was the case. But we're not doing that. Oh, Lord knows we're not doing that right now. But the priority, though, if there's one guy, we need Madubuike back. And I'm going to get my Dr. Evil out here. And if he wants $100 billion, then you give it to him.
Yeah.
I think that's the guy, no matter what, I would want as the fantasy of Saquon Barkley gets too high, or Derrick Henry. Madubuike to me just looks like a guy that you just cannot let leave.
And that is the scenario that will free up the Ravens' money, because we know if they can't agree to an extension, you have to franchise tag him. You have to do it. But with that franchise tag, the official number came in at right about $22.1 million. That's a 1 year fully guaranteed deal. That's $22.1 million against this year's cap. How you free up that money is much like with Lamar Jackson. You sign him to an extension, you make it a backloaded deal, and you can have that first year base salary be around, $1 or $2 million. Put a lot of that extra money into signing bonuses. Have the first couple of years be a super low cap hit, and then have that deal backloaded. So year 3, year 4, if it's a 5-year deal, year 5, those are your big money hits. That's the way you maximize it, because if you don't, and you have them play on the franchise tag, that $22.1 million is all on the cap for this year, and it hinders your ability to go out there and maybe sign a guy.
Yeah. I think that's exactly the thing. I think no matter what, even with the salary cap increase, priority number 1 is Justin Madubuike.
Yep.
Because it's insane the pressure he generates at a position that is not necessarily known for generating pressure, and it makes what he does that much more valuable. We see guys like very few guys that can actually do it, and every single one of them gets paid. The Chris Joneses, the Aaron Donalds. If you can generate pressure from the defensive tackle position, you are going to get paid. So, like you said, the way to do it is to give him his money long-term and say, okay, here's how we are going to have it line up numbers-wise so that we can get our best team out there while also getting you paid.
And you know what? You mentioned Chris Jones. How about the other guy that's been the dominant, best player in the NFL for a while, but then I guess he had a down year. Aaron Donald, literally being everyone's talked about.
And Madubuike trains with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's the comparison, but Aaron Donald, what do you make that? He had the pressure on the last play in the Super Bowl when they played the Bengals. That was him wreaking havoc. Chris Jones, we've seen what he's done.
Chris Jones in the Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl? Yeah.
Well, they didn't block him.
Yeah.
On the last
but it talks. It's
busted
that.
play.
Yeah. That was.
The prophecy is right there for the taking. Just got to bring him back.
So $100 billion for Justin Madubuike. Whatever he wants, bring him back. But we trust in EDC. It's all going to work out.